Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Co-op Podcast. I'm your host, Richard Bailey Jr., and today I'm joined by Mr. Gary A. Swaby. How's it going, Gary?
It's going very well, thanks. And I just want to say, a lot of people for years have been asking us to bring back, one person, and we finally made it happen. So carry on, Rich.
Absolutely. And of course, we're talking about Mr. Charles Singletary. How's it going, Mr. Singletary?
What's going on, man? And should I be concerned? Is that one troll the person that's been asking for me to come back?
Wait,
I can't even remember his name anymore.
which
The
troll are
guy
you
that I
referring
always,
to? Like, we've had a
the
lot of
one that I
trolls.
did the versus episode with.
Oh, other
Yeah,
Zinc, yeah, he's gone. He hasn't come
Yeah,
back.
I was
no,
worried that's who was asking for me to come back, man.
Nah, nah. It's been all the good people who support us. So yeah, it's
Oh,
good
that's
to
dope. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank y'all for having me.
yeah,
oh
good
yeah,
to
of
finally have you
course.
back.
Oh yeah, absolutely, definitely. And like I said, hopefully I sound clear. Just so people, if you wonder later, I'm actually not home right now. I am recording from a remote location. So yeah. So if you do hear any sound issues, make sure that you blame Gary for this. Just for this week, you know.
I can
Oh,
get
it's
behind that.
it's always my fault.
Yes. Okay. So we do have a couple of topics to get into this week, but before we do any of that, we're going to let you all know what we have been playing. So, Charles, I'm going to go to you first. How about you let us know what you've been playing?
Well, currently, and thankfully today I can actually talk about it. I'm currently playing Just Cause 4. Um, I've played that series a little bit, but I've never really dug into it. But I'm playing it for review purposes now. So I've got to dig all the way in, and I'm enjoying it so far. But playing that, I've been playing a lot of well, I've been playing a very little bit of Red Dead Online, and a little bit of Fallout 76, but mostly Battlefield 5 actually. Battlefield 5 and Total War Warhammer 2, which that came out a while back, but I got a code for like all of its content and I wanted to play it and I'm addicted to it. But that and Battlefield 5 are like my main two things that I've been playing.
Oh, I had a quick question about Battlefield because it seems like I see a lot of negative like headlines about it. Like it's they've been saying that it's selling significantly lower than Battlefield 1 did and everything. Like, is this game like does it hold up to the Battlefield standard, or has it been a decline in your opinion?
I'll be honest, I don't know what standard Battlefield 1 set because I didn't get into it at launch. It was just a series of events that just it slipped by. It came out at a really uh, busy time for me, so I never got to play it. I bought it later, but I still didn't really get to dig into it. So my last actual experience was Battlefield 4, which is what I had in mind going into this. And for me, it is delivering well beyond my expectations. The typical quality sound design is there. They're improving the UI a bit. It has some issues, but playing with my friends is wonderful. The maps are wonderful. I already had kind of fallen in love with them, looking at them pre-launch, and now jumping into it, I'm enjoying them a great deal. It's not as many maps as Battlefield 1, I don't believe, at launch, but it's only one fewer than Battlefield 4 at launch. And then next week, we actually get a new map. And then, they're doing that whole the rollout. I can't remember what it's called at this time, but they've got this rollout. They eliminated premium, and every bit of content that comes out to this game goes to every single owner of the game, which I think a lot of people are kind of not talking about that enough. But people are disappointed because they didn't get the battle royale mode and stuff. But I'm actually enjoying it beyond that. That comes out in March, but I'm loving it a whole lot. It has some issues, like some glitches and stuff. Nothing game breaking that I've encountered yet, but I like it a whole lot. And if it's selling poorly I hope it's not so bad that they just have to scrap it, because they have a really, really good foundation to build on for the long term. They really do.
Interesting. Yeah, I might have to consider getting that game at some point. Maybe when the Battle Royale comes out or something.
All right. If you get it on PC, man, let me know. I run with a consistent squad of people. It's like 7 or 8 of us rotating in and out, and then I've got a coworker that plays with a good group of people. So we're gonna be playing it for a long time.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll consider it for sure.
Well, I definitely want to thank you for that overview, because the game is actually on sale now here at Best Buy. I only seen the console version. I don't know if the PC is included in that.
It's not. The PC version is not, but the console version I think is $29.99 right now.
Yes, that's correct. All right, so I may have to check that out until I can upgrade to a PC like the rest of you gentlemen. So
I've been waiting for you to do that for like years, man.
oh yeah, and I spoke with our very good friend David earlier, because he told me that he is now playing Mutant Year Zero on PC, and I told him that is the game that's going to make me feel like, okay, yeah, I need to get a PC, because that is a game I saw that game when it was at GDC for the first time, and it's not coming to console. The console codes will not be available until launch. So yeah, that's it. I have to get a PC.
Unfortunate.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not reviewing that, but I've got a copy of that too. And the only reason I'm not playing it is because I have other responsibilities. That game was top 5 my most anticipated games of the year. So as soon as I'm done with these reviews that I've got on my plate, I'm going straight into that one.
Oh yes. Hey, that sounds good. Yes, absolutely.
Word.
All right, so how about you, Gary? What have you been playing?
Oh man, it's been a busy week, so you already know, Rich. I've only been playing Overwatch, so
Oh man.
yeah. I've been waiting to try out this Red Dead Online, but I didn't actually get around to. Well, I think I could only get into it today anyway, because I got the game kind of late, like start of November. So I think I could only play it today anyway. So maybe after this, I might give it a try if I'm not too tired. But I still haven't beat the story mode yet. I'm on chapter 5, so I'm near the end now. I'm in the jungle chapter. So I think that's kind of close to the end. So yeah, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Just Overwatch.
Has Rich played Red Dead? Has he finished it?
I unfortunately have not finished it. So I've had a very I want to say I've made some bad choices in 2018. I haven't finished Red Dead yet. I haven't even finished God of War yet. So I have to try and finish both of these games before the year is over, because I know they're going to be in the discussion for Game of the Year.
Well, don't feel so bad. I haven't started God of War. I haven't started Spider-Man. So
I'm not the only one. That's good. I haven't started
yeah,
Spider-Man.
I haven't touched. Yeah, I haven't touched either one. And it's just with so many games that come out in the year. There are certain games where I'm like, I can't rush to play them, because if I do, whatever little bit of free time that I have is going to be gone. So those two, being single player experiences focused, and me having other games that I definitely want to play ahead of it. I was like, I'll get to it when I get to it. Grab it on a discount. I'll be okay. I won't be able to contribute to the conversation as far as game of the year for those two items, but there are a lot of games that I played that other people on my staff have not played. So I'll be able to contribute in that way. Shoot, I haven't even played Forza Horizon 4 yet, which I think is going to be a big title in the game of the year conversation. So I got to work on that too.
Yeah. Well, I do want to say, make sure you play Forza Horizon, because if not, then a fellow by the name of Others Inc. will be coming after you. So we know that for a fact. Yeah.
I really wonder what that dude is doing with his life now. Like, what forum has he found to troll now? I'm really glad he doesn't know where I work. Yeah, you said Xbox.com?
Yeah, he's on the Xbox forums. Official.
Oh man,
Yeah, that's possible. That's
I feel for
possible.
them if that's the case.
Oh, absolutely. All right. So as for what I have been playing, there's only really one game that I did get a chance to spend some time with this weekend, and I have to say that I like some of the new direction that the series is taking, but this game has some issues, and that game is of course Darksiders 3. Um, I
Mm.
didn't really get a chance to get into this series until I think it was about a year or two after the first game came out. I know David Jagno had recommended I play this game, and so I have been playing the game. I've also been talking with him, because I know he's also been playing the game. He actually reviewed the game. I still am planning to write up some thoughts on the game as well. But what I can say is that I am glad to see that it's back. I'm hoping that they're going to continue the series onward. I know that THQ Nordic did say they want to do like another game in the series, but I guess it all depends on how well this one does. But then again, that might not be a factor because I know THQ Nordic, they bought up a whole bunch of studios and they're working on a lot of different games. So we'll see. But the game in and of itself, the hack and slash combat is great. When you start to unlock the hollows in the game, that stuff is great. The only issue that I have with the game, and I don't really know if this is an issue specifically for consoles, is that there's a lot of glitches. It's not quite as polished. And when I did play it, I must admit that I played it a little bit earlier, so that was before there was a patch update. So I'm not sure if the patch fixed a whole bunch of that stuff because I haven't gone back to it yet this week. But
Mm.
when I did play it, I did notice that there was some issues with that type of stuff, and that was a little disappointing because it felt like it maybe needed a little bit more polish. They could have pushed this out. Plus, also the fact that they released it in November, where there was a whole bunch of other games that just came out in October, and of course there was some stuff that also came out this month. So I wish they had released it at another time where it would get more attention. But I understand they decided they needed to get it done and finished, so it's totally fine. But I have to say the concept. I still am very curious to see where they take the series next. I like the fact that they had the seven deadly sins that you had to fight in the game. I thought that was an excellent concept, although the execution's not quite as good as it could have been. Um, I'm still looking forward to seeing what they do with this series moving forward. I am glad to see it back. Hopefully, it does well enough to warrant some sequels. But
Mhm.
yeah, for now though, I have to say a little disappointing, but still not as bad as some other stuff that I've played. So I have to give them a little bit of credit.
Yeah, I've seen the reception to that game has kind of been a little middling. Basically, fans of the series aren't super disappointed with it, but it was kind of underwhelming, and that's unfortunate because people were really excited. It's not a series I've gotten into yet. I own the first two in their remastered forms, and I plan to play them, but I haven't. I won't be touching three probably for another year plus.
Oh yeah, no, I totally understand that. Um, yeah, the games are pretty lengthy too, so it's going to take a little bit of time, but it's worth checking out. At least the first two. The third one, we'll see. We'll see. To be determined.
True that.
Yeah. So I guess that pretty much concludes what we have been playing. Hopefully, I will have a lot more to talk about next week because Mutant Year Zero. I can't wait to play that on Tuesday. That's what I'm looking forward to. Um, but we shall see. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump right into the topics. In this first topic, I'm actually going to go over to you, Gary, since I know you are a huge Dragon Age fan. You was one of the people that heavily defended Dragon Age 2 when a lot of us said that game was complete garbage. So why don't you tell us? Oh yeah. So why don't you tell us, Gary? What is going on with Bioware teasing a new Dragon Age?
Yeah, so the talk of the town is that I miss Charles and his like funny expressions during the show. It's always hilarious. But yeah, the talk of the town is that BioWare is going to tease the next Dragon Age game during the Game Awards. Now
Hmm.
there's various things there's various things to unpack there because first of all, they should just focus on Anthem. Like I don't think we should be seeing any new game other than Anthem right now, especially when they did such a bad job with Andromeda. Um, so yeah, they should just focus on selling us on that game. But you know, we've been hearing that they've been working on this Dragon Age game for a while now, maybe the past 2 years or so. Now, the state of Dragon Age at the moment, Inquisition was just okay. It was alright, you know. It was a good average RPG. It was alright. Yeah. Dragon Age 2, and you know, a lot of people did hate that game, but I thought story wise it held up. Like it was really good story wise. Now the gameplay was a bit questionable at parts, but I feel like it carried the story well and told it from another perspective. And I think it did a good job there carrying the story along. Now, the first game, you already know how I feel about the first game. Is certified classic, in my
Yeah.
opinion. One of BioWare's best.
I back that.
Um, you agree?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and the crazy thing with me and Dragon Age is I didn't play it until I don't know if it was years, but it was at least a year after the game came out. It may have been multiple years, and I got I had the game closer to the launch. I tried it, and I was like, this isn't for me. I like tried it twice, just
Mm.
the opening segments for a couple different characters. And for some reason, I went back to it, and Dragon Age blew my damn mind. Like I don't know what I was thinking the first time that I tried it, but I got through the intro sections and I could not get enough of that game. I never touched Dragon Age 2, crazy enough, but one just was outstanding. Outstanding game. The expansions too. Like it was super strong, a lot of depth to it. I really hope they return to form with the next Dragon Age,
Hmm.
but they need to chill out though because Anthem is
Yeah,
coming. So yeah.
exactly. Yeah, so I mean, my question was gonna be like, what, like in 2018/19, what do we expect from a Dragon Age game? What does it need to do? And can BioWare pull it off? Like, you know, with where they're at now. So what do you think about that?
Me?
Yeah, yeah,
Me?
you, Charles.
I really this is anticlimactic as hell, but I don't know what to expect from BioWare, especially with Dragon Age. Um, Andromeda was. I don't think Andromeda was as much of a shit show as people are making it out to be. It had its issues technically and narratively. The technical issues I think were overblown. The narrative issues were evident as hell, and like I remember someone was trying to defend the fact that none of the characters were memorable characters. And it was like, oh, but in Mass Effect One, none of them were memorable. I'm like, yeah, yes, they were. If I mean, like everybody, I loved everybody in the first game for the most part. Like, I mean, Garrus out of the gate was a very awesome character to have. It didn't take two games
Yep.
for him to be a fan favorite, but he did ascend even further in the second game. Um, but the other guy uh, was Rex. Rex was in the first one,
Yeah, Rex is awesome.
correct?
Yeah, yeah,
Rex was immediately a favorite. Like the writing for his character was some of the strongest. Period. Going throughout the whole series. So to come out with this very lukewarm uh, experience and these very very tame and vanilla characters in the first outing and you're returning to Mass Effect doesn't make any kind of sense to me. Like you've had three games before this, just Mass Effect. Never mind the fact that you've done countless other things, but you had three games before this to create these new and fresh takes on different archetypes, and you drop the ball. So I'm like, Dragon Age. Dragon Age has had three things before it, not counting any kind of DLC that came out. You've created these wonderful worlds. You misstepped a little bit, but I think Dragon Age is more good by far than it ever was bad. And they still could misstep with this. They still could slip up. But I'll say this is like a silver lining. I feel like Anthem is going to be a very simple. Oh man, I don't want to say the wrong thing for this, but it's going to be it's going to be Anthem is going to be a game you rotate, not easy. No development is ever easy, right? But it's going to be a simpler development rotation for something that I think they can maintain while building some other games like a Dragon Age. So I think Dragon Age is going to be the more robust and engaging title between that and Anthem,
Hmm.
if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Um, People that want a Bioware experience, I don't think they're getting it from Anthem. Anthem is going to be its own beast, and they've tried to phrase it that way. People are ignoring it, but they're saying that it's not going to be a typical Bioware thing. I'm hoping that Dragon Age will be that. So that's my take.
Yeah, so I mean, before I get to Dragon Age, real quick, because me and you, we played a lot of Destiny, like, back when that first came out and everything. And
Correct.
I didn't really take to Destiny 2 personally. I don't know how you feel about it, but do you think Anthem can fill that void that the first Destiny kind of left behind as that, super grindy, addictive online experience?
Do you think are you asking if I think Anthem will be a better Destiny that you may be grabbed by?
Yeah, yeah, basically, like, can it fill that void? Because I feel like there's a void, and because Destiny introduced console gamers to something, but then I feel like that void was then left, like, after the first
Mhm.
Destiny, because the Destiny 2 didn't fill it, I think. So do you
Got
think
it.
Anthem is going to occupy that space that the first Destiny left behind and become that new pinnacle online experience, like, for the super grindy, you know, um, addictive online gameplay?
No, I don't think it will actually. Couple reasons. One, they're not doing much as far as PvP goes, and as much as me and you have our issues with Destiny, Destiny will persist because of that PvP. Not exclusively because of the PvP, but it's a large part of carrying the experience on for a long time.
Mm.
And Anthem's coming out of the gate without that, and it doesn't seem like they have any kind of desire to do it, which I understand. It's very different. It's not a first person shooter for one. Um, it's a third person action game, and it seems like the spaces that you explore are going to be a lot more vast and expansive uh, than what you get in Destiny. So I think they'll get that part right. But I don't think it's going to fill that void. I don't believe Anthem is going to even be as popular as Destiny, which is unfortunate because I want it to be. But from what I've seen, I don't think it's going to happen.
Mm. Okay.
That's yeah.
I mean,
It's
I, I
there's so much of this game we haven't seen yet though. Like we don't even know what the formula, the pacing, the beat of this game is going to be. Is it going to be just like, all right, hub, jump into an instance, come back, fix a few things up? Um, is it going to be larger areas you can explore with dungeons and raid instances you can go into? Like we don't know.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I pretty much agree. I don't think it's gonna occupy that space that Destiny left behind. But I am interested. I'm sort of I'm semi interested in seeing what Anthem will do when it's released. Because even though Bioware has messed up recently, I still love what they used to be about. I'm so in love with it that I want to see them succeed, and I want this to somehow turn out to be good. So
Mm.
I will be paying attention to that. Now, as for Dragon Age, a lot can be said. Like, I really want it to do well, but with how Andromeda turned out, it's hard for me to be positive and to be enthusiastic about it. And there were times where like I replayed Dragon Age Origins so much that at certain times I convinced myself that Dragon Age was better than Mass Effect. Like, I convinced myself of that fact, even though I really love Mass Effect. But the lore is just so deep in Dragon Age, and there's so much that can be expanded upon, and I just hope they do it justice. And I mean, they kind of left us on a cliffhanger at the end of Inquisition with Flemeth taking over. I forgot the dude's name. I think it's Solus or something. She took over his body.
Mm.
I want this next Dragon Age needs to focus entirely on Flemeth's mission and Morrigan and everything about that, because Flemeth has just been this mysterious figure throughout the whole series, and I just want to see where that's going, if it's going to lead somewhere. And I feel like they need to blow that whole angle wide open while also delving further into the lore of that universe. So hopefully that is the direction they're going to go in. And I just hope that it doesn't end up like Inquisition. And gameplay wise, I hope that they design it so that all the side quests and all the side exploration actually means something, because that was one of the biggest problems with Andromeda. It felt like they just packed it full of like fetch quests and just meaningless side quests that you just kind of, you had like a task list full of these meaningless tasks like missions and stuff that you had to complete, and you had to do a lot of backtracking to complete them and everything. Like, I hope they don't go that route. Like, I want, if you're gonna do side quests, don't feel the need to pack the game out with side quests. Just make them all mean something to the story, like, or to the world and
Right.
to the lore. So I hope that that's the direction they're gonna go with it. I hope it's more narrative driven and less gameplay focused, even though obviously we need good gameplay, but I just want them to go back to their roots and just be completely, narrative focused. And we don't need an online mode, so please don't even do it. Like, we don't need it. Like, in Dragon Age Inquisition, I played the online for like 5 minutes. Like, that was all I needed to play, to know
Yeah, I didn't
that
touch that at all.
yeah, it just wasn't good. So if they can do that, then I'll have faith in them again. So yeah, I mean, Rich, I know you've never particularly been very interested in the Dragon Age games, but what would this game need to do to sell you, to draw you into it? Even if they promise that newer players to the Dragon Age series would be able to jump in and understand what's going on, what would they need to do, like, to make you interested at that point?
Well, honestly, I think I'm already interested because I know that Casey Hudson is involved. I don't believe that he was involved with Andromeda's development cycle at all. And I know that he has said that when they do release the next Dragon Age, they're focusing more on the character development and the storytelling. So I think that right there has already gotten me interested in whatever they do next with this particular game. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, I mean, I the only thing I would tell them is yes, don't make a Dragon Age 2, because I recall trying out the demo for that game when they had the free demo, and man, it just that was a bad experience. So I just if they focus on telling the great stories and it's character driven, similar to what we got with Mass Effect, I think that's good enough. Now, in terms of the gameplay mechanics, we'll have to see what they do. as far as the RPG, because because I didn't play Inquisition, so I don't know if the gameplay in Inquisition was something that you guys liked. Um, but yeah, that's that. I'm anything that has to do with RPGs, leveling up the character. I like those. I like those type of mechanics. But yeah, for me, it's about the story. It's about the characters because that's one of the strongest things I loved about Mass Effect. That a lot of these characters, you didn't want to see them die, and even when some of them did meet their end, it's very emotional and over the top. So, um, yeah, I definitely want to see that in whatever they do next with Dragon Age.
True that. True that. And shout out to Michael Brett. That's a friend of mine, and I think another friend of mine, Jeff, is probably lurking as well. But on what you said about the gameplay, I actually wish Dragon Age's Inquisition's gameplay was a lot better. I hope they overhaul that
Mm,
a good bit with the next title.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
So you both would probably say the first game is just the gameplay was 10 times better.
Oh yeah, I mean, instant
Yeah,
classic for me. Like
it's
it was
definitely better.
amazing. Like I mean, some people might go back and think it's dated now, but like if you're into RPGs and customizing your characters and your party members and everything, like that is how an RPG should be done. It's like the fundamentals of how an RPG should be done. So yeah, classic.
Okay,
Um,
cool, cool.
Inquisition, like like gameplay wise, it was better than the second, but it had its pitfalls as well. I think in terms of side quests and stuff, it sort of did what Andromeda did with packing it full of like unnecessary,
Fluff.
yeah. But at least in that game, it was like, okay, you go to this area and all of the side quests are going to be within this area and you don't need to backtrack to other areas to complete them, kind of thing. Whereas in
Yeah.
Andromeda, you had to like literally hop on your ship and go from one planet to another to complete quests and stuff like that. Like it was just ridiculous. So
Yeah. Plus,
yeah,
Dragon Age Inquisition had the impact that you felt like you were building a kingdom, building like an empire to a degree.
yeah,
So that kind of helped with things. Some of the more mundane tasks were easier to manage and to get into because you were building up something. So
yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's pretty much it. So I look forward to seeing, if they do announce something, I want to see what direction they're going in, and I just hope it's good. And but back to you, Rich.
Oh no, and yeah, so I agree. I just want to make a quick comment too in regards to Anthem. I know there was some news earlier today that there's actually going to be some type of beta next month that's open to everybody. Well, no, you have to actually register on the website. They had a link, so I have to get that information. But I guess that we will get a chance to see more from Anthem sooner rather than later because I also have been wondering what to expect from this game, and I think that EA definitely needs to show more because it's coming out in February. So hopefully we do get to see more stuff. And then of course with the beta, we hopefully we get to participate in that also. So we'll see. But yeah, let's. Uh
Oh, technical difficulties. But yeah, Cameron.
oh.
remember, I told you
No.
about the internet connection I have here. I told y'all before we started.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Hey, no. I thought it was something on my end. So no, you're good. You're good.
Yeah,
Um.
apparently we have two Charles here right now, so
Yeah, the other one will go away soon.
Okay. So the next topic, Gary, you may have to remind me as to what is the next topic because I'm not looking
oh,
at
so
the.
it's Obsidian,
Oh
the Game
yes,
Award.
Obsidian. There you go. There you go. See, I forgot about them, and I'm supposed to remember them because they are working with Microsoft now. So yeah, I have to. Yeah, I have to remember them. Um, but yeah, so there is a. I don't know if this is a confirmed information, but Obsidian is also supposed to be I guess, revealing their new game at the Game Awards next week.
That is
So,
confirmed.
it is confirmed. Okay, all right, there you go.
Mhm.
There you go. So, okay, I know. I'm not really sure what to expect from this game. I wanted to get you guys' opinion on what you think we should look forward to, and whether or not this is going to be a Microsoft exclusive or if it's going to be on multiple consoles. Because I believe you did mention, Charles, it is going to be on multiple consoles.
Possibly.
Possibly.
I'm
Okay.
like 80, 70% sure that it could be on other consoles. But Gary, did you want to start this off?
Yeah, I mean, ever since that announcement was made, I mean, we actually heard that this was in the works, like this, them being acquired by Microsoft. We heard that that was in the works before is it the XO13 event or something, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, when it was confirmed, I was happy for them, and I'm glad that Microsoft is kind of building up their list of studios and everything. I'm sure they're gonna have a great next generation whenever that kicks off. Um, but I'm interested because we were talking about Bioware. Obsidian is one of those great RPG publishers as well, studios as well. Like they've done some great work, like Neverwinter Nights and Fallout New Vegas and what's
South Park,
what's South
Stick of
Park?
Truth,
Yeah, what's Pillars of
Pillars
Eternity,
of
right?
Eternity,
Yeah.
Tyranny.
That was the one I was trying to remember. Yeah, they've done some great work. So Xbox, of course, they need a lot of exclusive IPs, and Obsidian is a great studio for them. And I really want to see what kind of game they're gonna put out, and whether this game that's going to be announced is actually an Xbox exclusive, because that will be a big deal. Like if they announce this game and it's some kind of epic RPG type thing that impresses everyone, and they announce that it's exclusive to Xbox, that's gonna get a lot of eyeballs back on Xbox, and that's what they need right now. But as me and Charles were talking about it earlier, Charles said there's a chance that this could have been it could be something that has been worked on before the Microsoft deal, so maybe there's a chance it will be multi-platform. And if that's the case, I think that will be kind of interesting. The fact that a Microsoft-owned studio is going to publish a multi-platform game. I think that's an interesting storyline in itself. But I guess it is fair if this was in the works before. So I'm interested to see how that business is going to work out, and if it is going to be exclusive or if it's going to be third party. I mean, across the board kind of thing. So. And this generation as well, I think this generation has been the rise, or well, the resurface of the JRPGs, and we haven't had too many outstanding Western RPGs. So it's going to be good to see companies like BioWare and Obsidian making a comeback and bringing back more Western RPGs as well. So that's another reason I'm interested. But any more thoughts about that?
Oh, I've got plenty, good sir.
Go ahead.
I'm a huge fan of Obsidian stuff. I came into the Obsidian party late. I was not a Fallout fan, so I didn't try New Vegas. I didn't. I mean, I dabbled in Stick of Truth and everything, but Pillars of Eternity did it for me. Pillars of Eternity got me into the CRPG genre and had me going back to check out things like Neverwinter Nights and Planescape Torment and stuff like that. Uh, so so I played Pillars of Eternity, loved it. Played Tyranny, absolutely loved it. Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire, reviewed that for Shaq News, loved it as well. So I'm super excited for whatever they're going to put out. And I if Obsidian just continue to put out these top quality fantasy CRPGs, I'd never have a complaint. but my wheelhouse is more sci-fi than fantasy. I love both, but sci-fi. If you hook me with some sci-fi stuff, I'm all the way there, and that's what this looks like. Um, they've got like a couple ads for Spacer's Choice and this other company called Auntie Cleo's as they gear up for the Game Awards thing. And as you kind of mentioned before, this is a deal that preceded the Microsoft deal from our perspective. Like the confusing parts about it is like, okay, so Private Division is publishing the game. Private Division is a spin off of Take Two, which is Rockstar Games' parent company. For people that don't know, and this is their indie label. They've published Kerbal Space Program, for example, but they're the ones publishing this game. So I'm like, did Microsoft purchase the rights to all of this now? Like, with them grabbing Obsidian is whatever this project like. Was it like a PC exclusive maybe, and now it's going to be PC and Xbox, which would make sense with everything going on with Game Pass. I don't know. I hope whatever it is comes out on PC, because if it doesn't and it's only on Xbox, whatever Xbox I gotta buy, I'm gonna buy it because I want every Obsidian game that comes out, especially if Obsidian is doing sci-fi, because I truly trust that they're going to do a very good job with this. My expectation on with the type of game this is also is that it's going to be an isometric CRPG type thing too, but with sci-fi, which is also incredible to me. I mean, if it's not, I'm way left, but that's just, I think that they're very comfortable creating in that style. They have it down. They do a wonderful job with it, and I hope that's what we get with this. But that's what I'm looking forward to the most from the Game Awards now, and I really wish it would hurry up and get here because I want to know what this is.
Yeah, and I think you can rest assured that we will see it on PC, because even if it is Xbox exclusive, it's going to be on PC too, because that's part of the Microsoft initiative now. Like, most of the Xbox exclusive stuff is going to be on PC anyway. So I think one way or another, we're cool on PC. We're going to be able to play this game, whether it's exclusive or not. But from what you explained, I think it would make sense that it's not exclusive if this was, if this is being published by someone else, because it's up to the publisher ultimately what platforms the game is going to come out on. So if you're saying they have a deal with Take Two and their other label, then I guess it might be on everything. So but yeah, I mean, I'm still excited for Microsoft either way, because Obsidian they're a great snatch for any console manufacturer. So kudos to them.
Also, Rich, and for the other Zincs out in the world, Microsoft's acquisitions since E3 have been phenomenal. Every single one, especially Ninja Theory. Like the fact that they got Ninja Theory and Obsidian, it's like they just holding out like a lure in front of my face. Like, come on, Charles, whatever, just come on and get whatever. I'm like, oh, whatever, cool. And then I find out Mutant Year Zero is on Game Pass. I'm like, all right, Microsoft, you got me. I'm gonna have to budget for whatever Xbox puts out at this point. I'm not mad. You got me. I'm here. I'm glad that Xbox has turned the corner and they're doing things like this, because. And then I'll throw this out there because I haven't had a space to talk about this, but I think part of it, either it was part of the decision or it helped the decision along. Sony avoiding E3 next year, while they have a lot of power and they control their own destiny for the most part. I think it's a brilliant idea for them to do that, because Microsoft is kind of in a position to have like 2, if not 3 straight really strong E3s. And it kind of benefits Sony not to be there while that's happening.
Yeah, especially if they don't have much to show. Like, cause
they don't, which is, this, go ahead.
Oh, no, you carry on. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say they don't like, which isn't necessarily a problem. It's just we know already what they have coming. You know,
Yeah,
they're big titles. They're out there,
Yeah.
and they're exciting titles. But there's not so much for you to show. You know, not exclusive. Like you can spend the time to show Final Fantasy remake. Um, I wish you would show me Shenmue 3. That'd be
yeah.
nice.
Oh yeah, that would be perfect.
But you know, they can sit this one out and let Microsoft have the floor, as they say.
Yeah, and everything that Sony's been putting out there suggests that they're entirely focused on the next PlayStation. So if that's what they're kind of grinding towards now, then, maybe they're just not ready to talk about it yet. So they'll talk about it in their own time. When they announced the PS4, they set up a completely separate event for that. So I expect them to do the same for the next
Hmm.
PlayStation when they're ready. So, we know what the PlayStation lineup is. Death Stranding, Days Gone, Ghost of Tsushima. You know, um, Final Fantasy at some point. So we know what the
Yeah,
lineup is. So if there's nothing more for us to know yet, then I understand why they're not going to be at E3. But Microsoft, I feel like that, like you said, they're ready to just have like straight fire like at every event from here on.
Yeah,
So
2020 is probably going to be one of the greatest uh E3 conferences ever. Like I'm already pointed at that because that gives these newly acquired studios, it gives them a lot of time so they can actually start putting these projects together for Microsoft.
that's true.
And I think 2020 is going to be bam, blockbuster after blockbuster after blockbuster, and it's going to cover so many different genres. That's another thing with these acquisitions. They cover such a wide swath of experiences. And that's what's been missing from Microsoft. Their shooter experience is solid. Their racing experience is top tier, can't be touched. But everything else has fallen off. We don't have a fantasy RPG like we had in Fable anymore. But and we don't like what was that game? Quantum whatever and Sunset Overdrive.
Oh yeah,
Wonderful
Quantum Break.
games. Yeah, Quantum Break. Wonderful games, but they just didn't have the fanfare for them. And they just
Hmm.
kind of fizzled out, and those studios have gone on to do their other things. So to have these other studios now, whatever Microsoft look, Game Pass already is the best value in gaming, period, right now.
Hmm.
If they continue doing what they're doing, like it's going to be absolutely stupid how much value that $15 a month is on the Xbox platform.
wait, it's $15?
I think it's 15. If you
Oh,
do it month by month, I think it's 15. I think it might be cheaper
oh, okay.
otherwise, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything you're saying, I completely agree. And Richard actually told me that he already booked his Delta flight for 2020 E3. So yeah,
Well, I
All
don't know
right, I
about
better
that.
I better I better see you there, man. I'm sad that you weren't there last time.
Yeah. I'll be. Yeah. Gary is the one that he wasn't there last year. So yeah, I definitely will get to E3, but for now, I got to see if I can get to PAX because I know PAX was going to be in Austin, San Antonio. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm at every PAX South. I'm at every single one.
yeah.
I have not missed one yet.
I have got to get to that because I actually just got an email about that earlier today, so I got to register.
Yeah, and it's $9.99 a month for Game Pass.
Yeah, see, there you go, $10. So
Can cannot beat that price. You can't beat that for all of the games that you get access to. Like, it, no, untouchable.
yeah, that's great value. I'm just waiting for like the PC one, and then I'm gonna probably gonna get that because they're coming out with the PC Game Pass. So
Well,
yeah,
the Game Pass already works for PC.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
Sea of Thieves, Forza Horizon, Mutant Year Zero, all of that stuff works on PC. Like, there's only, I think, Master Chief Collection is the only thing that doesn't at this point.
okay. Well,
Like
So
the
that's my
only big
Christmas.
thing.
That's my Christmas sorted right there.
so
Yeah.
what? So you know what I think what Gary meant to say is now that he knows this information, he can redeem that Xbox. When Fallout 76 comes to Game Pass, then Gary will play it on PC since they sent him that
Oh,
Xbox One version that he can't play. So
wait,
Yeah, that.
why can't you play it?
They sent me the Xbox version of Fallout 76 on disc, and I don't have an Xbox, so
Oh,
that's all right. That's okay.
I,
It's all good.
I just have to hold that L.
yeah.
But I actually did want to ask a quick question before we move on to the next topic. So I know you've answered this question, Gary. I'm curious to know what Charles's answer is. So now that you know Sony will not be at E3 next year, do you still think it will make sense to go to E3?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Okay. See? Okay.
Absolutely. I don't even subscribe to this whole E3 dying and E3 is going to go away and E3 is less relevant. Look, the whole less relevant thing went out of the window when they opened up E3 to the public.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to make their money no matter who is there. They're going to make their money, okay? So I see it as just another opportunity for lesser known games and publishers and developers to take up the space, the massive space that Sony took on the floor. So that gives me more awesome things to cover that I may not have even known about. So as a journalist, 100% I want to go to E3 next year. As a gamer, you might be slightly less inclined because just as a gamer that doesn't really have to think about stuff like that from a journalist's perspective, that's fewer games that they know about that they are consciously aware of that are going to be at the show floor. I think it still benefits them to go
Yeah.
and experience whatever fills that space. And then, I mean, you're going to have a shit ton of other stuff anyway. Fortnite's going to have another place there. PUBG is going to have another place there. Nintendo's going to have a space on the floor that is massive. They don't do a conference, but they have space on the floor. Microsoft, all of these companies that they're bringing in under their umbrella, they're going to be able to have more of a massive space. I don't think this diminishes E3 at all. Sony is saving us the trouble of retreading over things we already know about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, would people be happier if Sony showed up at E3 next year and was like, all right, here's the conference. We got another open world clip of the zombie game.
Days Gone.
We got another clip of Days Gone because you didn't know what you were getting with that game up until now. We do have a lot to show for Ghost of Tsushima. We have nothing to show of Death Stranding that makes any kind of sense. We got Spider-Man DLC. That's it. Like, I'm good. I am so good on Sony not being there. I understand that it makes sense them not having a PlayStation experience. I think it would have made more sense for them to have a PlayStation experience and not have E3 than not have both. But I'm fine with both. Not, especially since I don't have to travel for PlayStation experience. I'm so glad I don't have to travel anymore for the rest of the year. But I'm glad that they decided to pass on it because look, the stuff that they could have shown possibly would be non-exclusive things. Like Kingdom Hearts is gonna already be out by the time that happens.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
The Shenmue 3, I don't know.
December.
Right, like I don't know what they're gonna show at Shenmue 3. Final Fantasy Remake looks like they're running a little behind, so it's like
Yeah, like 3 years behind or something.
Yeah, they running a little behind schedule. So like, Sony can say that. That also another thing. E3 is expensive, man.
Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
Sony obviously has the money. They have the largest install base. Period. Um, between like Microsoft and Sony, and spending all of that money to cover things that were already announced. It's cool. And then it gives me hope that whatever they have planned next is going to be even bigger because they're going out on a big note. Ghost of Tsushima, I have a feeling is going to be an incredible game for them to wrap up this
Hmm.
console generation with as an exclusive because I think we'll get Final Fantasy remake after that. But wrap it up with that and come out of the gate strong with the PS5, but also make sure the PS5 is backwards compatible because we can't deal with that bullshit anymore.
Yeah,
Like
it has to. It has to be
we're
now.
we are way beyond this whole no backwards compatible nonsense PlayStation Now bullshit. Like no, we not buying that this time. Like if Sony did that, it would about be as big as a mistake as the Xbox One E3 conference that they first had.
Oh yeah.
You
Yeah.
remember? You remember how much of a shit show that was? That's how
Yeah.
that would be if PlayStation was like no backwards compatibility. Nah, bro, we're not buying that. Not in 2019, 2020, whenever they announce it.
Do you think that Last of Us 2 will be a cross-generation game? Like it will release, between both consoles kind of thing, like when PS5 is out?
I think so. Because the closer we get to Days Gone coming out, or just as the rollout continued for Days Gone, I was like, Sony's probably going to want to avoid releasing their game around the time Days Gone comes out because they're very different, but they are similar enough that you know that will undercut the Last of Us experience. So
Mhm.
I think what Days Gone comes out same day as Anthem, actually.
Oh no, they actually changed that release date to avoid Anthem, so I think it's coming out in April now, the end of April.
Man, they should move back. Don't nobody need to be worried about nothing, dog. But they're coming out in April. Um, I think The Last of Us. But in the order of things that were announced, Last of Us should come out before Ghost of Tsushima. But I don't know if it will. Honestly, it,
Yeah,
it
I
could
don't
come
think
out
it
Really?
will.
afterwards. That could be. I
That
do think. I do think it could be in between consoles. It'll probably be just like the first Last of Us, where you get the Last of Us remaster on the
yeah.
PS4.
Mhm.
Um,
I
I'm
think
fine
it's
with
I
that.
think
We
it's
we
gonna
know we're
be
getting to the end.
I think it's gonna be like you buy it once, but you can play it on both consoles. Like so you can play it
Oh
on
yeah, yeah,
either
yeah,
console. So
yeah, yeah. That's what I was saying. The whole backwards compatibility thing. Like, no more of the remaster of a game that came out a few months ago thing. No,
yeah,
none of that.
yeah, I think that's how they'll do it.
Yeah, definitely. And don't be fooled by what Gary says. He mentioned you mentioned all these fantastic titles, but we all know that the game Gary's looking forward to most, Dreams. I know he can't wait for a release date for that because
Uh, you're dreaming right now, right?
yeah, yeah, that's good. But yeah, no, but that was a very good explanation. Yeah, I wanted to get your opinion on that because I know we didn't talk about this stuff when it went down with the Sony cancellation. So those are some very good thoughts. Yes. So, anything else you wanted to add, Gary, before we move on to the next topic?
No, that was a pretty good discussion for that. So we can end it there.
Okay. So, next up, I know we received news a few days ago that Nintendo is actually getting rid of the Nintendo Creators Program and changing guidelines to help people monetize their games more on YouTube. So I guess I wanted to get some quick thoughts on that. How about you go first, Gary? Because I believe you had something you wanted to say on this.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought this program was a little unfair to creators. I always side with the creators in these kind of situations, and I think it was kind of selfish for Nintendo to try and control what the creators could, cover and talk about. Um, and it just kind of came across as a little like stuck up, like, oh, we if you guys are gonna be talking about our games, we want a piece of it and we want to control who gets to talk about it. And I didn't like that whole approach. And I'm not sure on the reasons why this is shutting down, but my guess is that it wasn't successful. um, and it was probably too much of a headache for them too to try and manage this, because I'm sure there's plenty of people out there who wanted to cover Nintendo stuff. So there was probably a lot of like micromanaging that had to be done. Um, so yeah, I mean, you can't. This is what happens when you try and control, the free market. Like people should be free to create the content they want. That's what YouTube is all about. And I just felt like it was very distasteful for Nintendo to try and come in and control that and try to like profit from it and everything. Like people genuinely want to just talk about Nintendo to support them and you know like demonstrate their games to other people who might then go and buy these games. Like people were trying to legit help them, and they were just trying to capitalize on it and try and control things. So I wasn't a big fan of it, and I'm actually glad to see it shut down, because maybe this will put more control back into the creators, and maybe people can actually start to cover Nintendo a little more. But maybe you guys have a bit more official insight on what actually happened. So go ahead.
I don't have any more like official insight. I saw the guidelines, the new guidelines for it. But just my ultimate takeaway is like I'm not giving Nintendo any cookies for this. No brownie points, no nothing. This is them doing something that should have been the policy from Jump Street. Um, I understand that Nintendo has kind of a a tendency to try to control the message with a lot of their content, which I understand. It is a legendary company with legendary franchises and stuff. But trying to control that is tough in this digital age, especially in this live streaming age and social media age. Trying to control that message, I think it ends up doing more harm than good. So opening things up a bit more now. Um, there's going to be some organic, promotion that comes with this process, being more open with people want to cover Nintendo things more often. Um, and I think it's good, but it should have been what the policy was from Jump Street. Is the best way I can frame it up.
I agree. And sorry about that. A bit of a technical hiccup on my side.
All good. I just thought my internet went out again.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. I just gotta make sure my I don't encounter any issues.
Mm.
But yeah, I pretty much agree with what you both said. They definitely should have had, you know not had such these extreme policies in the beginning, because everybody wants to talk about their games more freely and help them as a whole. So I'm glad that they have now relaxed with some of the guidelines. I'm curious to see how many people are now going to start to stream and talk about more Nintendo games. I do find it very interesting, the timing of this news, because we all know that next week Smash Brothers is coming out. So
Good timing.
yes,
When is the Pokemon game out? Is that out already or?
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
that's
already
out.
out.
Oh, okay, Cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, Gary, you actually was supposed to pick up a Switch for that game. So very disappointing to know that you
I
didn't do that.
I haven't heard anything about it. Like I don't even know if people have been liking it or not. I need to
Huh?
I need to see what the streets are saying about Pokemon.
Yeah, you definitely gotta look into that. But yeah, overall, just glad that Nintendo was making these changes. I unfortunately don't play really any Switch games, so it won't impact me directly. But for those that it does impact, yes, this I guess this is good news for all of you. So,
Definitely.
all right. So, any final thoughts before we move on to the next topic?
No, that's it.
All right, Gary. So, I believe I'm going to give you the floor now, as
Well,
I believe
before we get to that though, real quick, I
yes.
just wanted to touch on Daredevil being cancelled.
Oh yeah, you see, yeah, because see, you have the itinerary in front of you. I don't have it, so yes, I'm glad you did mention this.
Yeah, so I mean, we do have an entertainment show that's coming up this weekend, so make sure you guys check that out if you want to, hear a more in-depth discussion about this. But the Daredevil news just broke, and I wanted to share some thoughts on it. Now, obviously, Luke Cage and Iron Fist was already cancelled, and
Yep.
the question was whether they were going to cancel those two but keep Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Punisher. I guess we have our answer now because Daredevil was clearly the best one out of all of these Marvel Netflix shows.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that they're canceling Deadpool means that they have a bigger plan here. So I guess it's either the Disney service that's coming, like they want to do some things on there, or maybe they want to put Daredevil in the movies or something. Like maybe they want to bring him to MCU, or I don't know. But I think it's a wrap for all of these shows. We have the Punisher coming. I'm pretty sure that's probably going to be the last one of that. Like we're probably going to hear that that's cancelled, and Jessica Jones. My man Charles. Charles got the Daredevil head tie on right now.
Yeah, man. I just wanted to say rest in peace, Daredevil.
You're more the Luke Cage type, I think. You should have got a
Nah,
yellow
man.
tee.
Nah, man. I wasn't so sad that Luke Cage went away, even though the last season was uh, solid. It had some redeeming qualities, and it ended on a note I was kind of curious about, even though I don't know if y'all watched it.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
Some of the
I
stuff
watched
that
it.
happened at the some of the stuff that happened at the end of that season didn't make shit worth of sense. Um,
yep.
especially as far as Luke Cage's attitudes towards people didn't make any kind of sense. But uh, Daredevil was easily the best series out of the Marvel shows, and the last season is one of the best seasons out of all of them. So it's really stupid and frustrating that it didn't go out with a fizzle. You know what I'm saying? Like it had an incredibly good season, better than the second season. Could be argued that it's better than the first, but I'm not gonna make that argument.
Mm.
Um, and it's gone now. And Iron Fist had a wonderful season before it got canceled. Not wonderful. It had a much better season than the first when it got canceled. Even though that's not saying much, the first season is easily one of the worst things I've ever seen in my entire life. But it's I feel like the writing was on the wall before any of this stuff got done. So I don't know from my experience with this, from my perspective, with these deals and these contracts. A lot of people feel like they're going to go straight to the Disney program. That's not really how a lot of this works. Um, I hope that something has happened. I hope that what I'm hoping is this. I'm hoping when the ink was getting written up for these Netflix shows way back before it happened, I hope that Disney already knew that they were planning to have a series or their own streaming service, and that part of the conversation was eventually bringing them on if Netflix relinquished them. I hope that that was the case because then we could probably retain some of the stories that have been put in place and some of the actors that I think are wonderful in their roles, even though a few of them definitely can change, and I will not be mad whatsoever. Um, but I hope that the core groups, not even all of the core groups, I hope that the core Daredevil team can stay. Um, at the least. That I love the supporting cast in Jessica Jones, but they could change that around a little bit too. Um, Luke Cage, my favorite character from that series is I'm over that. And Iron Fist, you can just erase that whole shit, and I won't care whatsoever. But I hope they can keep Charlie Cox and Daredevil and keep going. Because I was hoping that Netflix would just keep and keep Punisher too, because he's perfect as Frank Castle.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely perfect. And I was hoping that they would just keep going with, Daredevil and Punisher, just have them going. Jessica Jones has a third season. And for the people that kind of don't understand why Punisher and Jessica Jones haven't been canceled, it's because they're already filming. So either Jessica Jones for sure is already filming, and I would assume that the Punisher contracts were already done. So it's like there's an obligation to finish those. I don't think this is a sign that they believe Punisher and Jessica Jones are the more profitable and beneficial to them. It's just that this is just how it goes. The process has to go through. They've already invested the money. So I guess if they were to drop them now, they'd have to pay all these actors and these writers and everything what they owe them and just not have a show. So what they're going to do is we're going to have this show. As soon as that shit's over with, we cancel them, both of these. I don't think it's going to matter how well they do. They could be the most viewed out of all of them, but they're going to get canceled at the end of this. And I just hope that there's a plan to continue a lot of these stories because it's very sad.
Yeah, yeah. Like
Yep.
Richard actually sent me a text today. Like there was one of the writers on Daredevil. He was talking about how they wrote some amazing stuff for season 4 of Daredevil, and now they have the news that that's completely scrapped and it's not going to be used. Like, so he was quite disturbed about that. So, it's kind of sad when situations like this happen, but Disney has their vision, and I'm sure
Well,
they're going to see it through. I believe we will see these characters again in some capacity. So
Yeah.
well,
And I hope the scripts get used too that they had. It's, at least for Daredevil. I hope they get used.
well. One thing I did want to say is what I found interesting about this news yesterday when they announced it is that they said that the Daredevil character will continue to live on. They did not say that for Iron Fist or Luke Cage, but yet
Yeah, they
when
did.
you go,
They did. They
oh,
did.
they did.
Hmm.
Oh, they did.
yeah,
Oh,
they
Yeah,
okay.
they they
they
teased
said the
something.
characters will live on in other properties.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Okay, all right. Because then I know I saw on Twitter they all had the images. Like when they canceled Iron Fist, there was the image to talk about it wasn't over. The same thing for Luke Cage, and then I saw yesterday they had an image for a Punisher. I mean to say Daredevil, just saying that it wasn't over. The story continues. So yeah, I think they will find a way to bring some of these actors and actresses back to reprise the roles. The
Hmm.
question I have though is because this is going to be if the show was to make a return or in some way be changed for the Disney Plus service. Now, do you guys think that that means that the some of the violence of the show will be toned down because this is the Disney service, or would it remain the same as it was on Netflix?
I've never thought about that, but that is a wonderful question. And my thought process is that it would be toned down, and that sucks because Punisher and Daredevil ain't for play.
Yeah,
Yep.
So
it's true.
shoot, Jessica Jones ain't for play either. Like, oh man, this is not good. It's just you just squashed my little hope.
Oh no! Hey! I didn't want to do that, but I did. I did think about that immediately.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when they acquired Fox around that time. they were asked like if they would be open to doing an M-rated like Deadpool and everything like that, and they said they would be open to it, but it's likely that it would be a separate thing from the main MCU or whatever. So I mean, maybe they are open to doing mature stuff, but I don't know if it's I don't know how serious they are about it, and I think that they would probably promote these as M-rated, but it would it like it would be seriously toned down. Like they would kind of hide it. Like there would be like one scene where it's bloody, and the rest of it is just like PG-13 kind of thing. So I think they would probably do something like that.
I mean, I know that they are releasing a PG-13 version of Deadpool. I think the next month.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Who wants to see that?
I guess they have altered it to make it sort of for the holidays, and they have Fred Savage from the Wonder Years also in it. So I'm not really sure what to expect from that, but yeah.
Cash.
Wait,
Lots of money.
how I don't even understand how they can do that. Like, cause he's dropping F-bombs like every other line.
It's gonna be interesting, bro. It's gonna be real interesting to see how they put that together. I'm not spending the money to go see it, but I'll look and see what people say about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Disney, you gotta be more open-minded, man. For real.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll see. But hey, don't ignore what I said about the violence. Maybe they will.
Too late.
Yeah, because I mean the fighting sequences in Daredevil, like that fighting sequence in the last season, episode 4, and I saw the reaction to that online. I was like, yeah, this is because I mean the fights were just so engaging. You see Matt Murdock is in a fight, and you actually fear for the character's life when he's in these fights, because he also get beat up a little bit. So
it's good fights, man.
Yes. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so any final thoughts on Daredevil before we move on to the next topic?
Rest in peace.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Marvel Netflix. But I want to shout out to Dana Abercrombie. Make sure you guys listen to the movie cast this weekend to hear more about this, because I'm sure she has some insight too.
Yeah. Make sure you check out the show, because she's also seen Aquaman and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So
nice.
I have no idea what she thinks of. I heard she said Aquaman. She had a lot of complaints, and then I also heard that Tony Polanco thought it was good. So I got to hear what they both got to say about this particular movie. But yeah, stay tuned on that Sunday for sure.
Word.
All right, Gary. So the floor is now going to be yours for this next topic.
Cool. Yeah. So throughout the whole of November, we've been doing our anniversary shows, and we've been bringing back people from the past, and we've asked everyone to share, their best memories with the Koalition. Whether it's a memory from E3 or something that relates to another member of the Koalition, like an experience you might have had with someone outside of gaming, from the Koalition, or just one of those days we were on Skype and we were engaged in some crazy conversation or whatever. Like, just give us some of your best memories, your best moments working with the Koalition. So this week we've got Charles, so I'm gonna pass it straight over to Mr. Charles Singletary and let him share. So.
There are a crap ton of wonderful moments to tap into, but number one is easy for me, and that is my first E3, which was E3
2015, was it?
15. Yeah. Yes, 2015. I already had the dream that I always wanted to go to E3 one, so dream accomplished. Thanks to Rich and Gary and the Koalition team. So that was massive for me. Plus, I had engaged with all of you, but never actually met you in person. So that was huge. That not only was that my first E3 and the first time meeting all of you, which I still have
Well,
relationships with all of those
I
people.
wasn't actually there that year,
Not you,
2015.
not you,
Yeah.
not you. Which f you for missing that, because that was also the year that Final Fantasy remake and
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shenmue 3 and The Last Guardian were all announced.
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay,
I felt like crap when I missed that.
yeah.
And just to be fair, I also missed that year, I believe. So also, you got to say the same thing to me.
Wait, you no, you didn't miss that year,
Oh yeah, I did
did
miss that year. Oh yeah, that was the year. Yeah,
did
that
you
was that.
you put out last minute?
Yeah, I had to because I had just started this job. So
Okay,
yeah,
that's right. So I
yeah,
met you at a different event, and then met you and Gary at the same time.
yes,
Yeah.
that's what it was.
So so I know I met Tony there, and Stephanie and JJ and Tatiana
And David too,
and
I think. Yeah,
David.
And
Yeah.
Austin.
And Austin. Yep, that is correct. I've run into Austin a few times since then too, at other events. So he always just pops up out of nowhere. I never
Yeah.
see him coming from off in the distance, like over the horizon or down in a line somewhere. I just turn around and he's like, "What's up, man?" And I'm like, "What the fuck? Where did you even come from?" Like it might not even be a gaming event, and he's just there, just not carrying anything. He's just like got his nice clothes on. He's just there. He's just always cool, calm, collected, and just there. But met all of them. I also met um Yu Suzuki, the creator of Shenmue,
oh
my
yeah.
favorite game ever. Which that was nuts because I thought Tony was trolling me. It was Manny. I thought Manny was trolling me because we walked out of the Sony conference, and Manny was like, I said something about meeting him, and Manny said he just walked right by you, and I was like, what the fuck? What? What are you talking about? And I really, it took me a long time to understand that he wasn't joking. He actually had just walked by me, and I went and got a picture with him. So that was incredible. But the biggest thing about that first year was meeting all of you, except for Rich and Gary. But I did eventually meet you all, and meeting all of you has been the best parts because, no joke, every event that I go to, seeing y'all is like one of the highlights of it. Because like there are other people that I've built up relationships with, and I come across them all the time, but it feels like home when I see another coalition or former coalition person there. Um, like I don't get to see you two very often, but I run into David all the time. Tatiana is at everything that I go to, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? And like it's like I'm there and I'm there to work, and I'm like, all right, I gotta have this mindset. I gotta go network and blah blah blah. And then bam, I see one of you, and Tony. I see Tony at everything too, and I see one of you, and I'm like, man, I can calm down. I can relax. These are my people, and it's always wonderful. Um, it's like an anchor for every event, and I wish that you two could come to more of them. Gary
Well,
needs to move over here.
Oh,
I don't know why he's playing.
I
yeah,
should. Like, I
yeah.
really should.
Gary absolutely should do that. Um, yeah, no. Hey, I just was gonna say, yeah, we definitely appreciate that because yeah, I feel the same way every time I see you guys. Yeah, it's like a family reunion, and I know with E3 especially, that's something that really only we go to once a year. I know Gary
Mhm.
can't go to every other show because he's in the UK, but yeah, that is always a special. Like I agree 100% with you. It's always a highlight, and I can say that I will be at more shows because I was at GDC this year. I was at E3, but I will try to get to more stuff this upcoming year for sure.
Better,
Uh,
man. You better.
Gary is the one though that you really have to because Gary, I thought he was going to be at E3 this year, and then he said, "No, man, I can't do it." So that was a gut punch to receive that news. And then, but he did go to Overwatch, the Overwatch
Of
finals in New
course he
York.
went to Overwatch.
Yeah, you gotta thank Tatiana for that one. She pulled me out. So I mean, hopefully, because I know Overwatch will be going on in LA around the time of E3, so hopefully I can come out there and do both things as well, next year. So, and I'll see you guys then, hopefully. But we'll see how it goes.
Keep me posted. I don't really have
Yeah.
a reason to go to any Overwatch events because Ozzy, one of our guys, he's like the big. He does a lot of the Blizzard coverage. So, but whenever y'all make a trip out to something, just let me know. Rich, you need to come to PAX South, man.
Yeah, yeah. I saw that email today. So, and that was the second email they sent to remind me, hey, we're going to stop doing this passes on December 14th. So, yeah, I got to register for that ASAP.
Yeah, yeah. You need
But yeah,
as soon as we finish up the day.
yes, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, it's not too much of a long process, but like to expound upon the other things. Every like I don't even know if y'all remember this, but and a lot of the viewers probably don't know this as well. But the Coalition published my first gaming related article on a
Hmm.
website that I didn't have any kind of affiliation with at all. And that was the gaming and hip hop using gaming samples article. That was the first piece that I ever had published. I thought that shit was the most amazing shit in the world. I was over the moon. I could not fucking believe it. And it blows my mind that like from there, I ended up working with y'all, and just like a lot of my relationships in the gaming industry all started right there from that moment. And spiderweb out like um everything that I have access to now, or people that I converse with now, it all traces back to that point. Like that is legitimately where it started. Matter of fact, my favorite PR relationship that I have is directly from working at Coalition, because like it was and you Rich, you probably remember this because I kept telling you about it. But I went to, I think it was E3, and Tom from Evolve.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like he saw the Coalition on my name tag. I had never met Tom before in my life. And he saw that and he was like, "Oh man, I love the Coalition crew and Rich." He was asking if you were there and all that stuff. And I keep, I see these people, I talk to these people still to this day. Some of the people that I have the best relationships with um in my role now is through Evolve PR and Tom, of course. So as a matter of fact, Tom was trying to pull strings for me when the whole Cyberpunk fiasco went down because of some scheduling stuff.
Oh, yeah.
He spotted me in the crowd and was talking to me. Then he actually like remembered me. So like, yeah, just the best parts of this it all come from starting a coalition. I can only imagine what it would have been like starting elsewhere, and fizzling out maybe and just stopping. I mean, shit. Me and David worked on a site that lasted all of a month together. Like that. I wish I would have come onto the episode to screw with him about that. But that was an entertaining experience. Like I've got to experience some epic failures with Coalition people too, as much as the successes. So yeah, that the meetings at E3, meeting you all, actually spending time with you all, and the times that I've been able to do so since are my favorite experiences and my favorite moments by far. Not even close to anything else.
Awesome. That's well said, man. And you're like one of the great case studies from Coalition's history. Like, people who have moved on to do great things. Of course, you're with Shack News now, and you've done a ton of freelancing at other sites. So you're one of the best success stories out there. You, David, a few other guys, Tony, so people who have been with the coalition have gone on to do amazing things, and you're one of those people. And you did a lot of great work during the time you were here too. You had Nights to the Turntable, which was a very respected hip hop podcast at the time. And
Oh,
now
That needs
yes.
to come back.
you know what's funny? Like hip hop podcasting has blown up in a big way now, and you were
Yeah,
like
man.
You
one
know
of the
that.
first to do it.
Freaking
So
crazy. Oh, we should have stuck with that, but it's hard to manage so many different things, man.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing we go through, doing this. Like there's it's only so many hours in the day, and we have so much vision, so many things we want to do. But yeah, like I mean, a few of the memories I have of you being with us, definitely. I think this was my last E3 I went to, which was 2017, when we all went and had lunch together. I believe this was after the expo, the day after the expo finished, and a few of you guys had to fly out later that day or drive wherever you were driving to. I'm not sure, but we all got together and we had lunch together at, I believe it was like a Chinese or Thai or something like
Hmm.
that.
It was both. I think. I think it was a mixture of both.
Yeah, 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 I think so. And I think it was me, it was you, it was Max, David, JJ, Rich. I think it was all of us. We went and we had lunch, and that was just amazing. Like just having all those people from the coalition, there together. Even though some of you were at E3 representing, other companies. I believe Nash was there too. I can't remember. I think so.
Hmm.
Um, yeah,
I
so
get to see Nash pretty often too.
yeah, I actually saw him at the Overwatch thing, so that's cool too. Like I get to see like, other people who because Nash is someone I've probably only met like I I think that was the only year I met him, that year I met you. So
Okay.
seeing him at the Overwatch thing was a big deal because outside of E3 I never got to spend a lot of time with him or talk to him much, so I got to see him at E3 and that was cool. I mean at Overwatch, sorry, and that was cool. But yeah, like that moment when we had lunch was, it was definitely one of those special coalition moments. Like, just all those people connected, all of us there for the same
Throwback.
reason. So that was one of those cool moments. And also, I have to shout out that verses you did with Other Zinc because when that went, you have to understand when that went down, I was suffering in hospital. Like at the time I was in hospital, in pain. I was dosed up on morphine, because my sickle cell pains and everything. But I listened to that podcast. It went on for like 3 hours, and it was just like it took my mind off of the pain and everything. So that was like, special to me, like just to hear you guys going at it over your views about, Xbox and PlayStation and all this stuff. Like it was very, it was very cool. Like, and that's one thing I love. Like when people are so passionate about this that, they just go head to head, they'll have debates, they'll have discussions, that long form content that kind of defined the coalition. Like I love it, like and that's what I miss when a lot of the people from the past move on and everything. But yeah, that was definitely a great moment. Uh, and yeah, Knights of the Turntable. There was some great episodes of that I remember being a part of. So yeah, and I was like the residential old head who only listened to boom bap rap and stuff.
And also the 50 cent stand.
Yeah, the 50 cent stand, so that was always fun. But yeah, those are some of the memories I have of working with Charles as well. So yeah,
I didn't know that you were in the hospital at the time that we were recording that complete fucking clusterfuck of an episode of Versus. But I'm glad that you had that to take your mind off things for sure, man. Like
yeah.
that means a lot because that episode was nuts.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
sure I'm sure that took a lot of people's minds off a lot of things because that was just
that was
stupidity.
that was entertaining. I got to dig up that episode and repost it or something.
Like that, yeah. I need to go back and watch that. I want to see how much I've changed since then. But no, I appreciate the kind words, man. It's I hope that the meetings that we've had are not the last. I hope another thing I thought about it earlier. I wanted to throw out there. I always felt bad when I was at events after I'd left Coalition because the people that I'd be working with, whatever establishment I'm with, I'd be ducking them to go hang out with Koalition people every single time. No matter who that person was, like if it was just Nash, I actually had Nash tagging along with groups. I would ditch people to go hang out with Tony every single time. Like I think I've hung out with Tony at that little Smash Burger next to the convention center like every time that we've gone at this point. But just I always felt bad because I'm like, I'm here with y'all and this is cool, but I'm gonna go hang out with the Koalition people because that's them's my family every single time, man. And that's gonna be the case going forward. Even if you might, if somebody throws a tantrum outside of a Ubisoft event, even if that happens, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if Rich, you don't remember that?
I did hear the story. That was the year that I wasn't there. Actually, that's the year I wasn't there. I heard the story. Oh yeah.
But no, Rich, you were there.
Wasn't that
you were
E3?
Because it was you. It was me and you. We are the ones that got in.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
So that had to be the second time that I went to E3 then.
2016.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
or something after that.
I'm not sure I remember what game was shown, but okay, yeah, I think I do remember this incident then.
Yeah, because you got in before I did. I came in with you and we left because it was For Honor.
Yeah, yep, that's it. Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. Yeah.
Yeah, you were definitely there. I knew I went crazy. I was like, I know Rich was there. I knew Gary wasn't, but yeah, Rich, you were there. Yeah. But
yeah, I do remember that now.
Yeah, things happen. Tantrums are thrown. People get upset, but I'm always gonna hang out with my Koalition peeps every event that I go to, every chance I get, man.
Yeah, and that's another thing. It's like we all have a special brotherhood, so it's like even if we all move on and do other things, like whenever we reconnect, it's always gonna be that same energy, and that's what's cool. That's what's cool about it.
Yep. Shout out Hip Hop Gamer too, because I met him through y'all, and I see him at everything. I've kicked it with him. What
you was at a Texas event or something, right? Together.
Yeah, Dallas, Texas. I'm ducking bomb threats with Hip Hop Gamer.
That event got shut down or something. I remember that.
Yeah, the 2 bomb threats put that one down, and I was hanging out with him the whole time. So. Shout out to him as well. I see him at everything. He's been to PAX South. I always look for it. It's the same situation. He's just always there, and I can hear him before I see him. You know what I'm saying?
That's how it is with him, man.
It's like, oh, hip hop's here. We're good to go.
Yeah, man. But yeah, we appreciate you coming back and sharing some of these memories, some of these stories, and just chopping it up with us again.
Hey man, thank you for having me. It's a blast.
The fans, the listeners haven't forgot about you. Like we get asked about you frequently, so it's very cool to have you back on. I will try to once I move, it's going to be a lot easier to do it. I consider it a declaration that I'm going to make an effort to make more appearances going forward. I'll definitely have more of an opportunity to do so, and I appreciate everybody being so kind and asking for me to come back. And thank y'all for having me. Thank you for doing this whole anniversary series, as a matter of fact. Oh yeah, man, we had to do it. 10 years. It's an important milestone. So.
Yeah, it's freaking crazy, man.
I agree. I think yes, definitely. Thank you for coming on, and we definitely look forward. We will be in contact. Like I said, I will make every attempt to get to PAX South. So
yeah, just keep me posted.
Absolutely. So, Gary, you had were there any other thoughts you wanted to mention before wrap up the show?
No, that's pretty much it. We can get to shout outs and everything.
All right, so before I do my shout outs, I'm gonna give the floor to Charles. Feel free to let everybody know where they can follow you at and give your shout outs.
Yes, you can follow me on Twitter, the THE_CSJR. the CSJR. That's been my Twitter handle forever at this point, and I'm still there, and I still tweet more than the average human, and probably a whole lot more than I should, but it's what I do. You can find me there. I write for shacknews.com. I do a lot of news coverage there, but I also do reviews. Look out for the Just Cause 4 review next week. Um, we also do live streams. You can look on twitch.tv/shacknews. Every now and then I'll co-host or host with Krabs Gerard, my homie over there. Shout out to the entire Shack News family. I'm very glad that they brought me on and took a risk and, gave me a shot there so I could actually live out this dream of, full-time, writing and making a living on the gaming industry. Something that, I never thought would be happening, but Koalition paved the way for that to happen. And I thank y'all a ton for giving me the opportunities that y'all gave me and kind of like putting me in the place that I needed to be to kind of realize this dream at this point or at that point and going forward. But and also shout out to Pikachu Lita, aka Katie, my Coins to Continue podcast host. We're on a hiatus right now, but we will be back next year once we get situated. And shout out to my girlfriend Sierra. I don't know if she's gonna watch this. I'll tell her that it happened, but shout out to her too. Love my girl. Moving in 2 weeks. Cannot wait. But yeah, man. Thank y'all for having me once again.
Oh yeah, man, definitely, definitely. Thank you for joining us, without question.
It's been a pleasure.
Yes, it's been an absolute pleasure. And I'm not sure if you still keep in contact with Joe, but tell Joe Hova I said what's up. Because I always think about all you guys that was on the show.
Oh
The
yeah, I
hip hop
definitely keep
tournament.
up with Joe. He's
Yeah.
about to get off social media, but I got his number, and I met up with him a few times too.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's good. All right. So I want to give a shout out to Mr. Charles Singletary for being on today's show. I also want to give a shout out to everybody that's listening. If you listen to us live, if you're watching live, or if you're listening later, we appreciate your continued support. And I'm going to give the floor over to you now, Gary, for shout outs.
Yep, so I want to give shout outs to a few of the Patreon people. That's M. Collins, Mauricio Aguilar, Himdil, Fergus Mills, Miguel, Antonio Rogers, and Sean Gority. Big shout outs to you for all of your support. We appreciate you very much. And shout outs to Jeff Jones for participating in the YouTube chat today. Thanks for listening and contributing to the discussions and everything. And I want to shout out to all the people who came back to be on the Co-op podcast during this anniversary series. It means a lot to us, and the listeners who have stayed with us, over this 10-year period. So it was great to have all you guys coming back and sharing stories and thoughts on the various news topics. So big shouts to everyone at the Koalition, in the past, present, and the future, and that's pretty much it.
Peace.
Absolutely.
Shout out to all the people. Miss y'all.
Yes. We will talk to you all next week.